Steve McCarthy is an Emmy Award-winning documentary filmmaker and journalism professor at Montclair State University. He's also a new granddad. So Steve works remotely a day a week to care for his infant grandson, Ollie. And that helps out his daughter and creates an awesome bond between grandpa and grandson and allows for some great storytelling as well. We welcome Steve. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Now, this is crazy. We had another Montclair State professor. Before that, we had another guy named Steve. This is an interesting little morning. Uh, I don't think that's ever happened on this show. You've had an amazing career as a journalist rather, and a filmmaker. So, what inspired you to take on sort of the new role to be a part-time babysitter for Ollie while you're still working?
Well, I had some friends here in Montclair. My partner, John Alter, was a journalist and filmmaker, and they had a daughter who had a baby in Brooklyn. They actually had two, and they go there twice a week to help with childcare. So I thought, well, I can arrange my schedule and try to do the same thing. Now it's an hour and 45-minute train ride to Brooklyn,
Mm.
but it's worth it. When you see Ollie, you'll understand why. He's just a really beautiful young man, and it's also part of a continuation in my family. We chose the name Papa for me, or I chose it, after my grandfather, Edward DeLay, who immigrated from Ireland to this country. And he came to my house in Brooklyn every day. He walked when I was having lunch, when I went to Catholic school and home for lunch. And he was a big presence in my life. He worked till he was 70 years old. He actually worked at Schaefer Brewery, which is right near where my daughter lives in Brooklyn right now. So I really wanted to become a force, a presence in Oliver's life as his papa.
That's awesome. But now, help me out with my memory. Schaefer is the one beer to have when you're having more than one, right? Wasn't that the old jingle?
That is correct.
You only,
New York.
you and I are the only two people watching who remember that, I think, right now. um, the beauty, you gave me goosebumps talking about Grandpa, Papa coming and watching you and you having lunch with him and that bond, which is eternal. That is eternal. That special bond. I was blessed to have the same thing. I came in an Italian household and we had multi-generational household, grandma and grandpa on the first floor. Catholic school, St. Gabriel's was only a 5-minute walk. I would come home for lunch. Grandma would be there making me homemade soup. Who got that? The kids had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and I had homemade soup. And then I would go back, and Grandpa would walk me back to school. The best, and you never forget that bond. There are so many working families today, though, they're struggling with childcare because it's so expensive, and it's just not the same when it's not family. So, how did you and your daughter first discuss you watching Ali as the solution? Did you bring it up, or did she bring it up?
I brought it up, yeah, because she didn't know she's a new mother, so a lot of things were new for her. She works for a very good company, which gave her a significant time off to become a young mother. But as it was coming to a close, as she had to start working again, start remote, they're going to need some help. So they got a place for 3 days a week in Brooklyn, which they really liked, and they just wanted somebody to fill in for another day. And I said, this is perfect. I can do this. Luckily, with this modern technology we have, I'm able to do story conferences with my students, with my colleagues via Zoom or telephone from Brooklyn. I can work while he's napping. And young men like Ali nap a lot, so I get to do my work and to spend time with him, and it's been really outstanding. A quick story: we were just out at my brother-in-law's house this weekend, and he's 9 months old, so he's beginning to talk, but not really talk, just make sounds. I came onto the beach, and he looked up and he said, "Pop!" So that was amazing for that to happen. I think he said was trying to say "Papa," and I'm going to go with that. Well, there it is. Yeah, that's where we were on the beach there, and that's me feeding him, which is a part of our bonding. It's just a really and they have a little place out on the deck in Brooklyn that I take him outside, and he's just a joy. He's really a good fella. He's well behaved. He sleeps well. I'm just having a blast. I really am.
Yeah, I think you're having more fun than anyone, and I can understand why. My parents have said, and I don't have children, but my brother does, and my parents have said so many times, there is nothing like the bond between a grandparent and a grandchild. There's something special because you have all the joy and the fun without many of the responsibilities. So you get to really have the best of it, and you get after all the years of struggling to raise a child, you get to really have a good time. What you're doing with Ali. will form a concrete bond, that'll last forever, and you're going to help shape him into a special young man that he would have never gotten with somebody just babysitting. So your typical Tuesday with Ollie, what time do you arrive, and how does the day start?
Well, I also want to give a shout out to Business Insider. I wrote this article for them. One of my students from Montclair State is now working there and was looking for freelance articles. So Business Insider really helped in publishing this out. My day starts with Ollie. I get an 8:15 train at Watchung Plaza in Montclair. Gets me into Penn Station around 9-ish, depending on NJ Transit. And then I get on to the A train for one stop down 14th Street, L train out to Brooklyn. I arrive at about 9:45 or so. At that time, he's just coming out of his nap. His mother is there or his dad's there. Usually they're in some kind of call because they're both very busy professionals. And I get up there and he looks at me, and there was a time when he began to realize I wasn't mommy and daddy, and he got a little upset, but now that's over. And I take him up and I take him downstairs and we read a book. We play some music. We get a bottle in him, and we just have a lot of fun. He crawls all over me. He pulls my glasses off, puts his fingers in my noses and my eyes and stuff. And we just have a great time all day. But one of the things early on when I couldn't get him to stop crying, and I'm a father of four, so I had some experience with this, but I actually looked into my Boomer music file and played him some Neil Young, and he responded to that really well. The Harvest album will just calm him down. So thank goodness for Canadians, and thank goodness for Neil Young.
I I love that. I was just thinking about that. I had a cousin who used to play Neil Young music when she would babysit me too. And yeah, there is something about the Canadian chill mentality. I'm with you. Do you see in your relationship with Ollie, or do you reenact in your mind the relationship you had with your papa?
I do, and my grandfather had a sixth grade education, so it wasn't exactly an intellectual one. But what he inspired me was this immigrant work ethic. He really just he worked till he was 70. He unloaded kegs of beer on a truck. Hard work. I would also, when I started to become a teenager, he would hire me to paint his house, and he would sit there in his chair with a cigar, watching me paint. You missed a spot there. He had a brogue so thick he could cut it with a knife, and to the day he died. And I just really love the guy, and he was a tough guy too. Though he wasn't a pushover at all.
Mhm.
There's some Gaelic cursing that went on occasionally. I have a few Gaelic curses in my arsenal now, but I really loved him. And my grandmother too was a saint, a sainted woman too. She was spectacular. So I feel fortunate that I had them in my life, and I want to make sure that my grandchildren have me and my wife in their life too.
Well, you are beautifully passing on that love and tradition to them. And I would say that your students are very fortunate to have you. I wish my J school professors were like you. You still actively teach and create documentaries. And what have your colleagues said about what's going on? Are some of them a little jealous? They wish they had that circumstance because it sounds like you literally are living in paradise by being with Ollie.
It is. And the other part of my paradise is my students. Some of them are working with you right now. They're all over the New York metropolitan area and beyond. And I specialize in travel journalism. For the last 35, 40 years, I've traveled around the world. I've interviewed Muammar Gaddafi and I've interviewed Mick Jagger, not together, but I've interviewed many people and been in 56 countries and 50 states, and now I'm passing this on to those students. I just took a group to San Francisco this spring. Last year we went to Arizona. We actually won some major journalism award very recently, Edward R. Murrow Award for that Arizona report, and a student Emmy, which they got to go out to Los Angeles to. So, mentoring young people is something that comes very naturally and is very dear to me. And I really enjoy it a lot. And I feel like I'm the luckiest guy in the world to have this opportunity.
Well, I can tell you that your good experience and great ability to confer that experience definitely pays off for us at On New Jersey because the people that you sent over to us are amazing. So it's just wonderful. Thank you for that. What
Thank you.
advice do you have it's the truth. What advice do you have for people in similar circumstances who aren't sure how to broach the conversation, broach the issue, I should say, with their employers about sort of a hybrid circumstance?
Well, Montclair State has a policy about working one remote day, which is wonderful. And I think in this age of this instant communication and these Zoom calls and everything, it's a very reasonable policy and a good one for morale and for relationships outside of school too. Um, it's a good place to work. We're doing good work up there, and I think that what employers should notice about this is that employees are going to be more productive actually if they have a little bit of freedom to do this. I honestly believe that. I work all around the clock sometimes when we go on these trips, 24/7, 7 days a week, and I don't mind it because I know that I can balance my work with important things like watching Oliver. So I'm
I'm
lucky.
with you. I'm with you. It's a great I'm sitting in a basement of my home right now. That's where I'm doing the show. I mean, when I was at Channel 7, it was an hour schlep back and forth, and you don't have that drudgery to look forward to now. You're right. It really makes all the difference in the world. Well, I know that Ollie is very blessed to have a papa in his life, and I'm sure he'll grow up to be a fine young man. And we're very blessed to have your students, like I said, here at On New Jersey. Documentary filmmaker, journalism professor Steve McCarthy, grandpa to Ali, Papa, Montclair State University. Also lucky to have you. Thank you so much for being here and sharing this awesome story. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Ken. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.
Please come back again. You too. It's great to talk to him. What a great story. Isn't that nice? We've had some just super stories today from great people. So it's one of those nice days, and that's why I'm not grunty and all complainy today. It's a nice thing.